Greetings to all our beautiful listeners of the Empowerment Podcast. Welcome once again to the Empowerment Podcast. It is I, Lunga, Mr. Oda Kumar. I hope you're having a great day, having a great time. It is the month of July, the 9th, as we are recording this. As in South Africa, the month of July it is known as Men's Month. And today I said, let me have one of the guests who's known for advocating most of the time things that concerning men. We'll get to know a lot about him. We'll get to know about the work that he does. We'll get to know about a lot of issues that men face that maybe it's not so common for men to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, with me on the line, I have Uputi, Phakamani Ndlovu. There's that other name that he goes by that I forgotten, but it was on my script. I'm sure he will say it. Brother, welcome to the Empowerment Podcast.
Thank you so much, Lunga, for having me. Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone.
No, man, thank you so much for making the time for us to be here on the Empowerment Podcast. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, there's a virtual meeting. Hope you'll forgive us for that. We'll try by all means to make it to be as perfect as it is when we're editing. But we're just happy to have a conversation with this man. Tell us, who is Phakamani Ndlovu?
Sure, no, thank you so much, Lunga. Yeah, so my name is Phakamani, Mr. Condom Ndlovu.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Everybody is scared of saying that name. So yeah, that's my stage name. So man, I'm basically a men's health ambassador, a brand ambassador, a public speaker, brand strategist, and I always say an aspiring entrepreneur, because of the nature of the work I do. So basically, Phakamani, I'm a 35-year-old gentleman born and bred in KZN. I'm from the semi-rural area called Kwangolosi, which is just outside the Hilly Crest, which is the outer west of eThekwini municipality. So I've worked in the NGO space as well as corporate, and now I'm in an SMME space as well as an entrepreneur. So basically, I'm the founder and the chief executive director of Phakamani Empowerment, which is a social behavior change agency where we're focusing on delivering social behavior change awareness campaigns in and around eThekwini. Yeah. So basically, that's Phakamani in a nutshell. Yeah. So basically, I'm a father of two boys, Lizwelake and Ndlovu. Sorry, Lizwelake Ndlovu and Zelwande Olwenkosi Ndlovu, and a husband to the most stunning women, Anele Mpanza Ndlovu. Yeah, that's Phakamani. Yeah.
No, man, thank you so much, sir, for that intro. I'm sure our listeners now have a bit of a clue of who we are talking with and what we'll be talking about. Maybe as we are getting into it, what inspired you to focus on men's health and wellness? Because as you said, your stage name is Mr. Condom Ndlovu. You do a lot of work with men, especially concerning their health and whatnot.
Yes.
What made you to focus on that? And what drives your passion?
Sure. Thank you so much, Lunga. That's a very good question, my brother. So back in 2011, I was sitting at home, after losing a contract, not losing, but it was an end of contract from an organization I was working for. Then I saw this advert on Facebook that my courts were looking for. They're offering free circumcision. And I've been hearing this thing on radio, the CILO, the King, all the Department of Health communications team talking about this free circumcision. Then I opted to go for circumcision. I went for my procedure. It was on the 14th February 2011. So a few days later, then I wrote on the page that, the services was awesome. I was happy. Then the manager called me to come back and see her when I come for my review. So when I went for my review, I went to see the manager and I said, you're a young man coming from a rural area and you just publicly spoke about your experience about the circumcision. We're actually looking for people who are going to be sharing this with the community about their services. Then that's how I entered into the space. So I became Makod's medical male circumcision ambassador for eThekwini. you know.
Okay.
So that's where my passion started, to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. So as I go around in the community, engaging men about the circumcision, recruiting them, then I found that, you know, there were a lot of guys who were interested to come for a procedure, but they will then fail to undergo the procedure because they presented to the facility with the sexually transmitted infections, you know.
Mm, mm,
And for me, that's where this thing, all this vision started, you know. So
mm,
being aware of these increasing sexually transmitted infections in KZN affecting young people, affecting men and women as well, then I said, let me start Phakamani empowerment as a social behavior change to educate the community about the importance of safer sex, you know, and practicing the protected sex
mm,
at all times, you know. And that's how we started. That's where we are focusing at. So that's what has been driving my passion. And also for me, it was when the guys come back and say, yo, Phakamani, you came to recruit or you came to talk about circumcision, you were raising awareness about something else, but today I went for the procedure, but I was diagnosed that I'm diabetic and I'm on treatment now. Thank you so much for that. Something that I never thought, you know. So
yeah.
for me, those are things that motivates me, that push me to keep on going, you know. Yeah.
Hmm. No, man, I hear you. And, you know, as you're talking on that, I'm just reminded of even the stats that we see on a daily going around of teenage pregnancy,
Mm.
these sexual transmitted diseases, all of these things are increasing on a daily. And to have people like you focusing on social behavior change, you know, it's really something that is amazing and empowering. And big ups to you, man, and continue the good work.
No, thank you so much.
Continue the
Thank you.
good
Yeah.
work. I'm
Thanks.
sure our community and our men needed a male voice in that space. A lot of time, there are a lot of voices that are speaking to women for women's issue, and that's good. It's not bad.
Mm.
But I think we need a lot more male voices in the male aspect and the male side of things. Someone who there's a lot of stigma that is going on
Yeah.
currently, and men face a lot of stigma, especially when it comes to men issues and men health issues. It's
Yes.
something that men sometimes don't even take it easy because of pressure and whatnot. So having the work that you do, I'm sure you faced a lot of issues that have been beyond just what you came to do, things that were even beyond it. And yeah, I'm sure we're going to get to it as the conversation continues. But
Yeah. Yeah.
to our next question, what do you
Mm.
believe are some of the most significant challenges men face when it comes to their physical and mental health?
Sure, I think it's the focus on the awarenesses, on the awareness campaigns. You know, there are a lot of, like you said, Lunga, there are a lot of um awareness campaigns that are being raised, focusing on women's. You know, even if you
Mm,
look at check around on there, even the municipality department of health, they will even have offices, youth and women disability, but there's no men, you know. And for
mm,
me, that's the challenge, because that men feels neglected. That's the focus, it's only on women and children only. Men's are
mm,
not really, you know. And for them to now go to these healthcare facilities to seek, you know, help, it becomes
mm,
a barrier to them, because they feel now, men feels that healthcare facilities are for women, children, and people with disability. And then
mm,
because for them, for us as men, there's nothing that really, from the government perspective, from, you know, all these agencies that speaks to men going to the healthcare facilities. We are maybe trying now, but for me, that has been a significant challenge for men to go and seek help from the healthcare facilities. Also, Lunga, you know, upon arrival at the healthcare facility, it takes courage for men to go to the healthcare facility. Then a man then will be met and encounter all the challenges when upon arrival there by the nurses, or, you know, the healthcare professionals,
yeah.
the way they address them. So it is a really challenge, you know. And
Mm,
I think they take it lightly, that oh no, I just spoke to them, and yeah. So as you walk in, abazosoka ngapha, TB ngapha, it really affects this the self-esteem of a guy, you know.
yeah.
As I walk into the healthcare facility, and then I'm being like, oh, join this queue, go and join that queue, you know.
Mm,
So for me, those are the challenges. And the men come back and say, Phakamani, I do want to go to a healthcare facility, but for me, these are the challenges, you know, and obviously the waiting area and so forth. But it has become a barrier for men to access, the healthcare facilities.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah, it's a lot with that
Yeah,
answer on its own, and
yeah,
I think it also speaks to us the way we are different from women.
sure.
It just talked to that we are wired differently from how women are wired, and we enjoy things maybe women won't enjoy, and women enjoy things that we won't enjoy. So it's
True,
different
yeah.
people. Hence, I was talking on the importance of having a male voice in these spaces, and uh, your work, man. I'm sure a lot of men will listen even to this episode and be empowered. But moving on, can you share a personal experience or story that illustrates the importance of prioritizing men's health and support and seeking supports if needed?
Cool. So you know what, Lunga? So I always say when when I'm out there now, because I'm working in a space where we always talk about the sexual issues and whatnot. Me personally, I love sex very much, and you find a lot of people who love sex, but they do not want to talk about it, right? Because now you'll be seen as someone who's, I don't know, they will label you, but somehow people create a stigma about sex, whereas everybody loves sex and sex is nice. Sex is meant for people who are married, people who are in a serious a romantic relationship, and yeah, so all of those things I understand that. But where I'm going to a point where I've got a beautiful wife, and so from time to time I would think, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go for screening for STIs and whatnot because I have a wife and whatnot. Then this other day, when I wanted to pee, it's burning and whatnot. And I was like, what's happening here? And I kept, just like relax silent and stuff. But these things continued. And I'm like, I'm the one who's always telling the guys that if you are feeling something that is abnormal, quickly rush to the hospital or to your nearest healthcare facility. Then I went there and the nurse says, you've got UTI, urinary tract infection. Or like, I've never slept with anyone else. Yeah. Then so for me, it's like it's stuff like that was caused by I wasn't drinking a lot of water. I wasn't really looking after my health as a guy. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
a matter of me sleeping around without protection
Okay.
and whatnot. Then
Mm.
then I was on that antibiotic treatment, and then I started to drink a lot of water. Even now, you know what? Then someone bought me this. My wife bought me so to carry, all the time. So
Yeah.
so 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 for me, it was if I continue with that mindset of a guy like, no, this thing's gonna go away just now, and then it continued,
Mm.
it would have been
Mm.
affected my kidneys. So
Mm.
those are the things that we take for granted as men and say, I know I'm gonna be sharp just now. No, but we really need to go and seek assistance, the medical assistance, and then we'll
Mm.
be sorted. Some of these things, it's a matter of going there and then they will screen you and tell you that this is the issue, this is how it's being resolved. It does not even require injection that men are afraid of. It's just a tablet, or maybe even drink a solid, or liquid of some sort that will fix the issue.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was my personal one, and I always like to share this one because it was, it is, if I kept on ignoring this, it would have affected my kidney, and we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, no, I get you, man. I get you. And it's yeah. Hey, men don't want to go to hospital. We don't want to go
Yeah,
to
they do.
hospital. And I, for one, I know it personally. It's
I don't know
very
what's the
hard.
issue. We don't, man. There's this thing about the hospitals, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's very hard to get a man to go to hospital. Even a clinic, yeah.
Sure, sure, yeah.
Hence, I'm saying maybe maybe we need a men's clinic made for
Yeah,
men,
sure,
you
sure.
know, and that is made friendly to men because
Mm.
I think there's a lot of destigmatization that needs to go and a lot of, uh, a lot of things that need to happen. But it is Men's Month, man. You talk a lot with men, you deal a lot with men. What would you like to say to men before we even continue with this conversation we're having? What would you like to say to men, to fathers? We know that in the country currently we have the highest debt of fatherless nation. Children are growing up without fathers. The role of a father, you have two sons.
Sure,
What the impact with you raising your sons? What would you like to say to men?
sure. Thank you so much, Nunga. To all the fathers out there, to all the men, uyindoda who's listening and watching this podcast, when if you look at the men's role from the Bible, it is ngama leaders. Men are the leaders, we're the heads of the families. And that thing comes with so much responsibility to us as men. Whether you are in the township, rural area, suburbs, or whatever, but it comes with that responsibility. You are a leader, you are the head of the family. So you must then take the initiative to lead by good examples. Lunga, to all the guys who are not working, currently unemployed, I know how it feels to be unemployed. It does not qualifies you to ignore or to be absent father. Go there and spend time with your child. It does not requires you to come with chips, money, clothes, all this expensive stuff. But your time, your presence to your son or your daughter means well to them. Just go spend time with them. The mother will say all the stuff that they always say, you know what? So for you to erase all of those things, visit your son or your daughter, spend some quality time with them. I always say, the fact that you'll have R2 to buy loose a cigarette, use that R2 to buy chips, visit your daughter or son. That's it. So it shows that we are a man, we are a leader, we are a responsible father. It does not talk about the status, whether we are employed, unemployed. I'm talking about simple things. And we've ignored those things. We've allowed these insults and stigmas that, no matter what is injured, they don't, they don't, But we can do much better and erase all of those things if we can be responsible men. In my life there were times where there was no income because I'm aspiring entrepreneur. Business wasn't doing well, but there was never a time where I was absent in my son's life. Go and fetch them from school, I will spend time with them. And then it creates that bond. It makes me unique. They'll rush to come to you. As men, we've got a responsibility to ensure that we lead by good example, irrespective of our statuses, the job titles, because all of those things means nothing. You could be one of the guys who's working outside on the road as an EPW worker, but we are the most important element in your children's life. Because we are a father. The word father means something. I think it's deeper than what we think, Lunga. And the guys, we need to have more seminars where we'll unpack this thing of a fatherhood and a father meaning to Amachita, because I think they are missing that element. But to all the guys out there, said be a present guy in your partner, in your son's daughter's life, in your families. Some guys are even, they are living with their families, but they're absent. I don't know if it makes sense. They are there for the sake of being there, but they are really not being there. So be there, be present, make your presence be felt. It does not require you to have money in your bank account. It does not require you to have a status of some sort. Just be there, and things will then eventually, you'll see, Lunga, because it's the effort that you are bringing in, you will see the fruitful results, my brother, at the end of that.
No, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think, men really need to step up and to assume the position that as you said it, that God had planned for them. When He created us as men, as you said it, He gave us a bigger responsibility. And I also think we need to take us while we're still boys and teach us these things. Don't wait for us to be maybe in my age or even maybe in your age, but while we're still young boys, teach us, prepare us for this life, because I think there are a lot of things that I'm experiencing now in my age. I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. And as we are growing, there are a lot of other things that I'm yet to experience that I haven't experienced. And especially for us, man, life comes in different stages. Not saying for women it doesn't. Don't get me wrong, don't come for me. But with what have I experienced, life comes in different stages. You first become young and a boy, and there are a lot of things that are said, and then you become a teenager, and then different things are said. It's like a different stage altogether. And then when you move from being a teenager, not to like you have to provide, like you. So it's pressure all the way, and pressure never ends.
Sure.
It's continuous. So hence I'm saying maybe these things that you're talking about, we need to be taught about them at a younger stage, so that while we are growing up, we are prepared and we're equipped for these stages that are yet to come. But thank you so much, man, for what you've shared, and it means a lot.
Cool. Thanks so much. While we're still on that thing, I just wanted to share that, you know what, there's so much expectation from a man, and it
Yeah.
creates so much pressure now, you know, for you to step up as a man and take that role and responsibility. But what coming back to this boys to men or mentoring stuff, we have started doing that. Yeah, I get a lot of invite to go and speak to boys to men seminar, boys to men
Mm,
dialogue. So we are doing that, and I'm hoping that I was telling these other accounts that we need to do it not as a once off, because it will
mm,
not have any impact, but let's
mm.
rather have the frequent sessions with them, and then eventually we'll see the what you call the impact.
Yes, sir. And I think the biggest issue and the biggest place that is affected by these challenges we're talking about, and I'm sure you confirm it, it's township areas, it is
Mm,
rural areas.
mm,
And I'm not saying that the suburb areas and the more civilized areas are not affected by this. They are,
yeah.
but it's more evident and it is more easily seen in townships and in rural areas. In South Africa, we have a term called Maphara. Um,
Mm,
those people, most of them, they are boys. Not that
sure,
there are no girls, they are female, but most of them they are boys.
sure, sure,
And
sure.
and you talked about earlier on about men being a leader. So how many leaders are there who are that, whose future and success is doomed already
Mm,
because of drugs, because of not understanding who they are and where they come from, because
sure,
of lacking their self-esteem and knowledge, because
sure.
of a lot of different issues. They are there and they are busy drowning themselves with drugs and all of these substances. And I really think that all these organizations need to change their focus more into townships, more into these areas where there are
Mm,
these people who are affected in such a way, you know. And I don't know, you've worked and you just said you mentioned you talk to such people. Maybe what is the plan for such people, or what as organizations when you gather and talk, what do you think or what do you say when you see these people?
cool. Thank you so much, Lung. So for me personally, as a Phakamani and from as a founder and the chief executive director of Phakamani Empowerment, that's my focus. I want to go to these township and rural areas because when you look at the organization that are here in eThekwini, they all want to work here in eThekwini because it's easy. And for them, I don't know, you know, but they do not want to go and work in those rural areas. They want to go to Kabapumulo and where you know, and all of those townships. Maybe they are in the townships here at Tegwin because it's easier for them. But I'm talking about
Mm,
this Kawin, Mbali, all of those, you know, those other townships, and we really need to go there. You know, when people are being said to Mbumbulu because it's far, it's a bit, you know, so they rather be here. That's it. So for me, it's a challenge. I always tell them that we need to go out there. The issues are there, but we are
mm,
just all sitting
mm,
here in Etegwini.
mm.
Etegwini is over what now with all these organizations. For me,
Yo,
it's
yo.
yeah. So the government should be saying it's enough now. We want people who are going to be focusing on the other areas of the province, not here in Etegwini. But for me, that's where we are going, and we are in a process of engaging with the Department of Health, you know, at the provincial level to have that MOA so we can go out and go to these areas where these other organizations they haven't tapped into those spaces as
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Mm.
No, man. Thank you so much. That is encouraging to hear such news that
Yeah.
a wider a wider spread will start happening of these intervention in our society. Maybe we're about to close this episode, but
Yes.
how can we encourage more men to start speaking openly about the issues that they face? It could be health
Thank you so
issues, it
much.
could be personal issues.
This is a very important question, Lung. I've been invited by churches, you know, to speak to the pastors. On Saturday, I was invited by the Pinetown Methodist Church as well. I said
Okay.
to the executive of the pastor when we met and to discuss, I said, you know what? The challenge is with all the current leaders that we have. I'm talking about the pastors, the counselors, all this, the people that are holding the authority at the moment.
Sure.
For me, they are failing men. They are the one who are not creating the platform for men to come and speak up freely without being judged. If I come to you and say, my wife, everybody will be laughing at me. And that creates, and none of the men will ever come and share their challenges. I made an example. We're watching in Togamselego and we saw a woman sleep twice, you know, and Ulindu Ambu's uti, Mr. Beji Kambu's uti, Naseka Yakshaya Ganjena yin. This guy, I funu pumelobat. And for me, it says, we am sharing Shasekai. Those are the challenges. But if men are coming out and say, this is my challenge, we judge quickly. So my challenge to all the men is that let us learn to support one another. Let us stop this thing of judging. You should have studied that and see the top judge. But because we are not the good judges, we must stop doing that. Because yes, and it creates this barrier. And people will never share now because of this. Secondly, people have shared to their pastors, and the pastor came and delivered a testimony at the church using your story as is without even changing there and there. And the guy felt she or he sharing my story. And those are things. Those are things that people said are then creating this barrier for men to then go and seek this assistance and also to just speak up. So my challenge to them is say, let us learn to speak up. You know, Lunga, if you have a problem in your mind, the problem is this much. But if I come and speak to you, then you will make me look at it in a different way. And then you find that the problem is this much, you know? Sure. So I always say to men, go and ask someone about your issue and be that someone. You're asking for a friend. You know that tagline, I'm asking for a friend. I said, that's my challenge to them. Even now, I'm saying, use that line. I'm asking for my friend. And then you ask the issue that currently we are facing. That's the only way that is going to help you heal. And then you'll be a free person. And things will start to change in your life. That's what happened to me. At some point, you know, if Lunga, you are a man and you are not working, there's this thing within you that makes you feel inferior, you know, less of a man and stuff like that. Even if your partner hasn't said those things to you, it is within us, you know. And then I started saying, but this lady never said anything to me, man, you know. And then they are supporting me. Let me be that guy. So let's create seminars where we'll share these challenges and hear other people sharing their testimony. Life will be a better once we start doing that. I was calling upon all the churches to say, let the churches start doing these things, because the most issues are sitting with the church people. I'm sorry, but I go to church as well, but I'm saying the church, we're expecting so much from the church and the church is not doing anything. If the church leaders can start these seminars, women, they have their own women empowerment things on every Saturday or Sunday, but for us, it's not. So we rather go and, I don't know, have braai and stuff like that. And then in those braai, we are not even talking about these issues. Let us talk about these issues. Let us create a platform where we'll talk about the issues and then life will change. Last thing I was saying, how many of us are saying we think Phakamani, he's not behaving the normal way we know him. But none of us have asked Phakamani, hey, my guy, what's wrong with you? We are not the same guy that you used to be. Women does that. I mean, I work with women, but I love the thing about them because they'll go and check up on someone. If this lady, the office assistant lady, they see that she needs some clothes, they'll come with a t-shirt, instead of the wardrobe and share with that person. That's what we need from men. How many of us as men, including myself, we are sitting with those robe, t-shirt and whatnot that are not fitting you? They're still in a good condition. Why are you keeping them? You've seen this guy at church who always comes there and they are not in a, they're struggling somehow. You can donate those clothes to them. That's what the Bible and the church, it's all about. But we are not doing those things. So it goes to everyone, even the guys who are not going to church. The ones that are going for meet up for a Stokvel, we must have this conversation, you know, and life will be a better, you know. And then the manhood, sometimes it's always on half past, you know, because of the issues that are affecting men. We need to sit down and talk about these things. These are real things that we need to talk about. Once we are comfortable to talk about these things will start to change.
No, man. Thank you so much. And you've touched in a lot of serious issues that we need to look at as a society, and especially in empowering men. Uh, I remember there's a guy I normally have here, and I'm sure you probably know him, Motulan Gomet.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I've once had him. In fact, normally around July, I normally have him to have such conversation because of
Mm.
his two books, The Fatherless Nation,
Yes, yes.
that he wrote. Um, there's something I've always shared when I have him, and it is that who empowers men? And a lot of time we see women empowering themselves. They go and study, they get their graduate, their degrees, diplomas, and whatnot,
Mm.
and they become these, you know, phenomenal women. And
Exactly.
whereas men on the other side, it's like it's declining rather than increasing.
Yes.
Someone once even said, look at the cars in the streets, most of them are driven by women. Less cars are
Sure.
now being driven by men. Go to
Sure.
TikTok, you'll probably come across a video of a woman taking out a car in a dealership, you know, and you'll see less videos of a man doing that. Not that men are failing, not that men are not doing it. Maybe men are not projecting it the way women are projecting it. We don't know. But
Mm.
all I'm saying is that success seems to be more evident to women than men.
Amen.
And we know what that does to a man, their
Mm.
stigma, their
Exactly.
mental health, how they do things, how they deal with things. And as you said, if we could have these conversations openly, we will be able to deal with these things far better than we're doing it. And I'm sure after this conversation, we'll have to have another one in a near future, just
Mm.
to a follow-up conversation on this,
Mm.
so that we do not make this thing to be a once-off thing. That is July, we're doing a men's episode, and then that we
Yeah.
are actually intentional in assisting
Mm.
men into becoming better people. But for now, maybe I'd just like to say thank you to you for offering your time to be with us. Maybe share your closing remarks and what you'd like to share before we wrap up.
Lunga, I'm a, as a madoda. There's a quote I saw the other day. 80 men's are very important in our society, you know, and they just need to embrace that we are important. And to all the females who are listening and watching this podcast, when was the last time you told your man, your partner, say, Gajeni, I appreciate you. Thank you for being the best partner. Thank you for being the best in my life. Thank you for
Mm,
being the good father to our kids. When
mm,
was the last time you said those things to your man? And
mm.
when you look us, we always appreciate these people every day. If you don't, then it's a problem. So and then it creates lead. So I'm challenging all the women to say, appreciate your men.
Sure.
Men also they deserve to be told that you are handsome. Thank you so much. You deserve, all these things because we go through so much and the expectation is always high, you know.
Sure.
Hence, like we're saying, we sing now a decline in everything, and women are like, we're not sure
Mm,
whether maybe the way things are or the men are not projecting the way things are really,
yeah.
but that's the reality at the moment. And so my closing remark is to say, my daughter, let us embrace this thing of we are the leaders. We need to portray that leadership within our spaces wherever we are, and we start small. And to go, yeah. I've met you a couple of weeks ago to say we must have this conversation with my daughter. Maybe I don't know, every month. I don't know, because once off, like in July alone, there will never be an impact. But if
Sure.
we have these things on a frequently, I don't know, then there will be an impact. And Kuma daughter, let us love ourselves, appreciate one another, and support one another. To
Mm,
I'm a female, appreciate abantu bethu, and let us tell them. Don't just, but tell your person, oh, Gachen was almost. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for that. And Lunga, by doing that, you will see the change. Even the women, they will see the different Phakamani once they start doing that.
mm, mm. Oh man, thank you so much for offering us your time. It means a lot to us as the Empowerment Podcast. looking forward to having a follow-up conversation with you. Maybe the next one will be physical. Who knows?
Sure, and I'll appreciate that.
But
Yeah, because look at
yeah,
my
man,
background now. You know.
no problem, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, looking forward to having a follow-up conversation.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lunga. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And also, Phakamani Empowerment for bookings and whatnot. People can follow us on all the social media platform, Phakamani Empowerment. Go to our website, www.phakamanimpowerment.co.za, and all our contact details are there. Thank you so much for having me.
No, man. Thank you so much, brother.
So thanks. Take care. Bye.